Hi, this is James Gordon Tour Library here. Well, winter season is finally here, and it's snowing outside now as I speak, so I decided to pull out some winter-themed books to read during this winter season. The first book I'll be talking about today, Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. This is from Poison Pen Press, and this was first published in 2023. This was a really disappointing book. When I read the synopsis to this book, I had a completely different idea what this book was going to be about and what it was going to be like. And last night I started reading this book, and right off the bat, I don't like the author's writing style and structure and dialogue. And I am not a fan of authors that write in like I don't like it when authors the whole entire book is written like they're in a rush and the pacing is moving way too fast. So I wasn't a fan of the way this book was written, and I got to the 200-page mark last night, and I was not enjoying this book at all. So later on this morning, when I got up, I finished the rest of this book, and this book was terrible. I did not like it at all. There's no likable characters. I don't the while the setting location I thought was interesting, but there's no likable characters. We don't really get to know much about them, and there's parts I felt where the author just shoehorns in a bunch of information on 2 pages, and that's it. And there's no build up suspense or really get to know the characters more as the story progresses. It's, as I said, it feels rushed, and then towards the end I felt it got sloppy, and then the reveal of the killer was an absolutely huge letdown. And as I read books, sometimes I like to try to take guesses of who the killer might be, and one of my first guesses of the killer was right. I was like, oh, that common cliche. I should have saw that one coming. And a whole bunch of other things I really did not like this book. Overall, there was nothing else I really enjoyed this book. I thought the idea of a bunch of people are stuck out in the wilderness during a snowstorm and there's a killer on the loose, that's a great idea, but this could have been so much better. So overall I did not enjoy this book at all, and I'll explain more about the things and other problems and issues I had with it. Alright, on to the book review. Plot. Krista and her boyfriend Kieran are going on a trip to the Rocky Mountains during the winter season. They, along with several other guests, will be spending 2 weeks at the Blackstone Alpine Lodge. Krista is looking forward to this trip as she has been under stress lately, and Kieran wants to try and repair their relationship. However, the bus comes to a halt when a tree is knocked over, blocking the road. Brian, the tour guide and bus driver, has a chainsaw and asks for help to clear the road. It will take them an hour before they get moving again. Krista and Kieran decide to explore the area a bit before returning back. As the two leave the area, they become lost when a sudden snowstorm appears, causing them to freeze to death, with Krista losing her footing and falls off the mountain, but her fall is cushioned by the heavy snowfall. Krista awakens and is able to pull herself out of the hole she's trapped in, and walks for a bit till she spots a cabin with a light on. Krista is then rescued by the others who made it to the cabin, but because of the snowstorm, they are trapped there. Krista tells them her boyfriend Kieran is missing, as this could cancel the trip if things don't improve. The others, Blake, a retired 911 operator, Miri and her trucker husband Steve from Alabama, Danny Olstead, a mechanic, and his teenage son Grayson, Simon Wall, Hutch Hahn, a DJ, and Alexa Barris. After resting for a few hours, Krista and the others try searching for Kieran during a blizzard but have no luck, as they're forced to turn back. One of them leaves a lantern on a tree, so if Kieran sees the light, he'll know he's close to the cabin. The next morning, Brian is missing, as nobody has seen him. They go looking for him, and Krista makes the shocking discovery of finding the severed head of Brian tied to a tree with and the lantern has been smashed. Return to the cabin, as everyone is shocked by this and knows without Brian their chances of getting out of here are slim. Some even think Krista killed him out of anger, which leads to an argument within the group. Blake tries calling for help, but the storm is blocking out his calls. Then the group discovers the CB radio, which Brian used before he was murdered, sent out a call for help. However, they discover the radio is broken. They find his bus keys as they travel on foot to his bus. However, someone has sabotaged it. The group takes their luggage back to the cabin, but Krista senses uneasy tension between everyone else as some think one of them is the killer. After returning back to the cabin, the group plans to spend the night and see if the weather clears up. Simon wants people to take turns watching over while the other sleeps. During the night, Mira suddenly goes missing as the others quickly leave the cabin and go searching for her. It isn't long until they find her body and severed head. They return to the cabin where Simon forces everyone to reveal their belongings to see if any one of them is the killer. Only Alexis has a pocket knife but explains she's traveling alone and doesn't want someone to sneak up on her. Simon decides they must reach the nearby town for help as it's too dangerous here. Krista and a few others go while the rest wait back at the cabin. However, they get lost while walking down the road and return back to the cabin. But it isn't long till Grayson goes missing and is found dead and hanging from a tree. Tensions rise as nobody trusts anyone anymore, with fights breaking out as they're slowly being picked off one by one. Will Krista or anyone else make it out alive and discover who the killer really is, or are they all doomed? Dead of Winter was a bad horror thriller. Disliked the writing style the author wrote in, nor the dialogue either. Non-likable characters with many moments of melodrama and scenes of them fighting each other then working together. They also make a bunch of bad choices that lead to the death of others. Felt the pacing was rushed and moving too fast at times with a short introduction of the characters rather than slowing the pacing down a bit and getting to know the characters better, as there was very little to go on as the detail is shoehorned in within a short scene within the novel. I also dislike how the story starts off with a aftermath of something gone wrong, then jumping back a few moments later of the characters all together on the bus, then going right back to where it left off, as it made it difficult to understand what was happening. Reading the scenes of drama wasn't fun, nor watching the characters argue with each other of leaving the cabin or stay, as they do this several times till there's hardly anyone left. However, the novel gets worse towards the end, to the point where I don't care for any of these characters since the author doesn't make any of them likable, and the reveal of the killer and the reason for the murders was so dumb. It went from a horror thriller to a murder mystery. The finale felt sloppy and didn't enjoy this novel at all. Overall, I don't recommend Dead of Winter. I'm sure you can find a better horror novel set during a blizzard than this one. That's a review today. Hope you enjoy. Yeah, this one's a short and simple one. I was really, as I said, let down with this book. I was going to this thinking it's going to be like start off like your typical horror thriller. Basically, got a bunch of characters. They're all heading out somewhere nice to relax, and then something goes horribly wrong halfway through the novel. But it just the author just like basically she hits the fan on page one instantly, and I'm not a fan when authors do this. I don't get why they gotta do things like in a rush, like let's just have everything happen right now. I'm not a fan of that. When it does the backtracking part, I thought, don't tell me it's going to do this where it's going to backtrack flashback scenes to the trip, and then it gradually reveals what went wrong on this trip. But no, it only does this once, and then it goes straight into this the scenario where basically the characters are being hunted one by one by a serial killer, and I was like, really, you're gonna start everything off with a rush, really? So I didn't like the way the book started. I didn't like the fact that we don't get to really know the characters that much. There's like this short little introduction. As I said, it's like only 2 pages where the author just shoehorns in all the characters and gives like a very light background on them, and that's it. Like as I said during my review, that's all the author says about them. It doesn't say much about the other characters, their traits and stuff, so it's very little to go on and what they look like. And this the entire time reading this book, I don't like the way the author is writing, like how it's like writing like this. I don't like the writing structure of the story. I don't like how the dialogue is and what the characters are thinking about. The main character, Christia, gets kind of annoying because she keeps saying, this is hell, we're all going to die here. She constantly keeps saying that throughout the book, and it just got annoying. It's like, would you please stop saying that already? And the other thing that really annoyed me too is that all the characters seem to do is argue with each other, and they're constantly fighting one another. And rather than work together as a team to try to survive, but no, they spend most of the time just fighting each other, and they make some of the really dumbest decisions ever. And there's a couple times where I thought, are you kidding me? You're gonna risk staying in this cabin that you can't even lock the front door apparently, and just risk the killer coming in and out, and no one does a good job of securing the cabin properly, as several times the killer is able to sneak into the cabin and get out without anyone noticing about it. I thought, aren't these characters paying attention to what's going on? Most of the time they're either arguing with each other or trying to figure out what to do next, and most of the time they're arguing with each other. Should they stay in the cabin, or should they try walking down the long road to get to a nearby town? And it's like they keep arguing about this. Then finally, towards the end, the main character decides, let's just go to the Blackstone Alpine Lodge instead. And again, the characters don't know what to do. You got one that's kind of like giving orders, and you got some that disagree, and it's just, as I said, no one's working together. They're fighting each other, and I was like, oh my goodness, not this bullshit from the what I read back in The Mist, where characters are arguing with each other, they're fighting over the stupidest things, and you always have a bunch that are trying to establish dominance over all of them, and it's like, stop! This is not solving anything. You're just making the situation worse. Work together as a team instead of fighting each other. So most of the book it's just a lot of drama and arguing, which I didn't like. And as I said, the pacing is moving very fast. I feel it very rushed and sloppy at times. So I don't like, as I said, I don't like the way the book is written. And whenever we get to a gruesome murder scene, the author describes again very little detail of the murder, and that's it. And as I'm reading this, I'm trying to think, okay, is one of the people trapped here the killer, or someone stalking them from the outside? And the author never describe, there's a couple times where the characters do get a glimpse of the killer, but the author doesn't describe what they're wearing or look like. And this is one thing, another issue I have with this book is the author is not putting in important detail when it's needed the most to help make it both easier to understand what's going on in the story, but to visualize what's going on. And then that gives the reader an idea, okay, gives them some ideas of who the killer could be, and what clothing they're wearing, and what their motive is and stuff. The author touches very little detail on the clothing, the cabin, and the environment, and that's it. And then as the story progresses, it goes from a horror thriller to a murder mystery, where the main character makes a shocking discovery of the cabin they're staying in. I'm not going to give it away, of course, but then it's basically they realize that they're not being picked off by a psychopath. Someone is deliberately getting revenge on them, and they all find out that they're all connected to this one event that happened like 2 years ago. And I was like, what? And then when it's finally reveals who the killer is, the motive is, I thought, this is stupid. This person went through all this trouble to bump off a bunch of people over this event that happened 2 years ago. Really? That's the big reveal. And the finale was a huge letdown. It's moving even faster towards the end as the author's just trying to wrap everything up. And I did not enjoy this book at all. And as I said, the book did not get off to a good start. As I progressed further through it, it was just getting worse. And then I decided just to plow through this thing because I didn't want it to take too long. And I was like to myself, this could have been so much better if the author just slowed down the pacing, slowed it down, have a opening sequence of the character getting on the bus, getting on the bus with these other people, and then maybe having the characters interact with the other characters. That would have been a perfect scene to get to know the characters better than shoehorning these little bits of detail within 2 pages. Oh, and that's the other thing too. The characters then reveal they all got tickets to this trip, but they don't know who gave it to them, and then it's revealed at the end where they got the tickets from. don't you people double check these things? You just go along when someone presents to you like a free ticket for some trip or something. Do you like do background checks? Oh, like these characters just made more and more dumb decisions to the point where I didn't care for any one of them, and I just kind of wanted them all to die at this point. But as I said, if the offer, had an intro scene of the characters interacting with each other on the bus, and then we got to know them better, that would have been great. And then I was thinking, like, I think it would have been better actually if they got to the cabin, to this like Blackstone Alpine resort, no problem, everything going fine, and then when the snowstorm comes, then the murder started happening. That would have been better. Or they're driving along, and then an accident happens where the bus crashes, and they're forced to get to the cabin, and that's when things start going wrong. That could be another good way to done the story, but no, the author doesn't go either of those routes. Yeah. So overall, I didn't enjoy this book at all, and I'm not really interested in any other books by this author. It's most of the books I looked up, it's like murder mysteries, so I'm not really interested in those. Alright, that's our review today. I hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel where I post book reviews, book hauls, and other fiction-related content. Until then, I'll catch you later.